Thanks, Dusty. Thank you for all the facts. All right, here goes. Several years ago, back in the 1990s, my friend, who is the supply coordinator for one of the yearly charity bike rides, unnamed due to statute of limitations, wrangled me into helping out by captaining one of the breakpoints for all of the riders. Quite a tall order, taking care of thousands upon thousands of bike riders. Tons of oranges and bananas, cases and cases of power bars and Gatorade. 50 or so water coolers for the hydration station and 24 porta-can portable toilets to maintain. Because them riders got to have somewhere to dehydrate, know what I'm saying? In short, a lot of hard work, but I figured it was good for a good cause, and it would be a way of making up for all the evil I had committed during that year. Sort of dispensation, so to speak, you know what I mean? All right. So normally the breakpoints are sponsored by certain well-known businesses in the surrounding area. Their employees dedicate their time and effort to help man the breakpoints. They just need a captain of sorts to help organize things and tell them what to do and keep things running smoothly. In return for working the breakpoints, the businesses get some PR and advertising, so it all works out very nicely for everyone. Unfortunately, for some reason or another, there was one year where one of the breakpoints wasn't sponsored. My friend came crying to me with this sad story about how there was nobody to work this particular breakpoint, and he begged me to do it as it's like de facto captain. He claimed that since I'd done this before, I had what he termed invaluable experience and could handle it with the greatest of ease. He assured me that he would find somebody to help man it and not to worry, it would all work out. I was a bit hesitant, but being the nice, wonderfully gullible fool that I am, I reluctantly agreed to do the best that I could. That good cause thing again. Sure. Well, the day the big bike ride arrived, I drove to the supply truck to my assigned breakpoint and waited for the volunteers to arrive. They started trickling in, and it was then that I realized that these weren't your everyday average people. Like biker colors, and gangsta bandanas, and numerous scars, a couple teardrop tattoos. To tell you the truth, they were a pretty rough-looking crowd. So I got my cell phone out and I asked my friend where in the world he found such volunteers. Well, they're not exactly volunteers, he explained. The county sheriff's department loaned them to us. They're folks that are doing their community service, paying their debt to society. It's all I could get on such a short notice. I asked him, WTF debt to society was supposed to mean. He replied, DWIs, unpaid traffic fines, few misdemeanors here and there. Nothing too serious, otherwise they wouldn't have let him out, right? You saddled me with a bunch of criminal misfits. I screamed, you douchebag! That's it, after this year I'm never doing this again. This is insane, you are trying to get me killed! Anyway, after a few minutes of soundly cursing my supposed friend, I finally calmed down and decided to make the best of the situation. I got the volunteers working on setting up the tents and tables, filling up the water coolers, making the Gatorade, cutting up bananas and oranges, etc. To tell you the truth, for the most part, they were actually pretty nice people. Even though they all had unique names like Snake and Blade and Mad Dog. There was one guy called Rosebud. All right. Despite their rough demeanor, they all seemed to really want to do their part to help take care of their riders and fulfill their community service obligations. Fairly decent bunch, all in all. That is, until Billy showed up. To put it mildly, Billy was a loser with a capital L. He showed up about 45 minutes late with some cock and bull story about having missed his ride, whatever that meant, and proceeded to wander around the breakpoint with this dazed, blank expression on his face. It's pretty obvious this guy wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, Probably doing his community service for drug possession, public intoxication, something like that. Total space cadet. He was totally worthless and had the worst attitude of anybody I had ever met. But what I really found aggravating was that he kept calling me dude. Hey, dude, I'm here to help out. What do you want me to do? Give me something not too hard, dude. I had kind of a rough night. I put Billy to work slicing oranges. Figured he could probably handle that. He would work for a few minutes and then disappear. I'd usually find him underneath a shade tree having a smoke break while all the other community service people were busting their butts, working hard and doing the best to take care of the massive influx of writers. As more and more writers started coming into the break point, things got really busy. The porta-cans started running out of toilet paper. I handed Billy a case of toilet paper and asked him to restock the porta-cans with the toilet paper. No brainer, right? After about 30 minutes, I looked up and I found Billy standing about halfway in line at the first porta-can, still holding the case of toilet paper, tripping out on whatever substances he'd managed to get his hands on, probably snorting the Gatorade or smoking banana peels or some what have you. I went over to him. Billy, just hand a roll of toilet paper to the person at the head of each line and tell them to take it with them when they go in. Don't waste time standing in line. We're too busy for that. Dude, he replied. That is really smart, dude. Far out. Totally awesome. I just shook my head and walked away. Guy was total write-off, like absolutely worthless. Better to just let him veg out and try to get him to do anything productive. In about another hour or so, just as we were getting swamped with the main body of writers, Billy came up to me. Hey, dude, hate to leave you like this, but I only needed 4 more hours of my community service, so I'm finished. Can you sign my service slip for me so I can get my credit for it? Sure, Billy, I replied. Go get your slip, I'll sign it. Billy came dutifully back with his verification slip. Glad to be rid of this bozo, I signed the slip thusly. Billy Winkfiend has completed his assignment at breakpoint number 5 for 4 hours. Signed, William Jefferson Clinton. POTUS 1-800-346-2100. Here you go, Billy, I said. William Jefferson Clinton. That's my name, and POTUS is the company that I work for. If anybody has any questions, they can call the toll-free number to verify that you've completed your community service. Hey, thanks for everything. You have a great day. You are good to go. Thanks, dude, he replied. He proceeded to meander off, no doubt in search of something to help him find his way back to old Cloud 9. What a doofus! He didn't even snap as to what I had done. William Jefferson Clinton? This guy didn't even know what planet he was on, much less who the president of the United States was at the time. POTUS? President of the United States. Right? Okay, I think he's a Twitter handle, but yeah, that's the company name. That's the telephone number was actually the toll-free number to report HOV violators on Beltway 8. Oh, sometimes I crack myself up. Oh, poor schmuck. Probably revoked his parole for forging that verification slip. He's probably still in prison, sharing a cell with Rosebud. Anyway, now that we were rid of Billy, the rest of the day went by pretty well, and all the writers got taken care of. I signed all the other volunteers' verification slips with my real name and thanked them profusely for the really wonderful job they'd done, with promises to keep in touch. No. Later that week, I received a call from my supply coordinator friend. He had a somewhat surrealistic tone to his voice. Hey, you signed all those community service verification slips at Breakpoint 5, didn't you? Yeah, I told him. And they did a great job. We couldn't have done it without them. We should consider using them again in the future. Oh, shit. Yep. You don't remember a certain Billy Winkfiend? Do you? He asked rather hesitantly. I signed a lot of slips, I replied. I don't really remember any specific name. Why you ask? Thank you.